Good day, everybody. Today I am standing on a mountain. I decided to climb a mountain this morning to film this video because I thought it would be extremely fitting, since we're talking about the unconscious mind, about hypnosis, and a metaphor I like to use is akin to being on top of a mountain. So your unconscious mind is on top of the mountain and your logical mind is in the valley. And there's only so much you can see from being in the valley. And sometimes you have to climb to the top of the mountain so that you can have the broad view, so you can see clearly, you can see far beyond. And that is the unconscious mind. The unconscious mind has powers and resources that the physical mind just does not understand. Today I've got a very exciting video for you. I'm going to be covering 4 secrets on how you can start to implement your hypnotic voice and to speak hypnotically and to start to understand the structure of conversational hypnosis. Conversational hypnosis is really the art of learning how to talk to your unconscious mind or to talk to other people's unconscious mind. It is your ability to captivate and lead the imagination of yours or others. And it requires a different languaging system. We've got 2 hemispheres of the brain. We've got the right side, the left side, and they have different forms of communication. Learning how to speak hypnotically and to apply these hypnotic language patterns, it first starts making this shift in your mind about understanding the structure of the unconscious mind. In this video today, I'm going to be giving away 4 of my secrets by which you can start to implement into your own consciousness so that you can access your hypnotic powers, your hypnotic voice, and the ability to speak hypnotically. I'm not going to be giving away any specific patterns, but more so teaching you the structure of how it works so that you can formulate the own patterns by yourself. The first one is metaphors. Now, metaphors is the language of the unconscious mind. It is the mediator between the conscious and the unconscious. If you can imagine, it's like reaching in to the unconscious mind from the conscious mind and pulling information from one side to the other. This is what metaphors do. They're extremely profound, extremely effective, extremely powerful when you start to pay attention to them. So begin to become aware of your own metaphors that you use and the metaphors that other people use. And if you stay until the end of this video, I'm going to be sharing with you a very powerful hypnotic metaphoric question that can pull metaphors out of people and pull them out of yourself. So imagine you've got a computer and you've got all your desktop icons on your computer. And if you push an icon, what happens? It activates the program. So metaphors are like these unconscious programs that are running around the background that activate certain states of being, that activate certain processes within you. Almost like your operating system, giving instructions to feel this, to imagine this, and to do this. So metaphors are extremely powerful when you find them. When you find those icons, you can use them over and over again to activate these certain states or to understand certain programs that are running your inner system. Number 2 is descriptive language. Now, descriptive language is also the language of the unconscious mind. They call it sensory-based terminology. It's when we speak in the language of the 5 senses. So if you can imagine, our first level of language is our senses, because it's how we sense the world, what we're seeing, what we're hearing, what we're feeling, what we're tasting, and what we're smelling. When we first come into the world, this is our first level of language. It's our first communication we have. It's our body perceiving the electron dance of the universe, and it's being interpreted through our 5 senses. So for us to communicate to the unconscious mind, we have to go back to our first level of language, which is descriptive language. So learning how to describe more about what you're seeing, what are the colors, what are the shapes, what are the textures, is it rough or is it smooth? What are you hearing? You know, how far is the sound? Is it loud? Is it soft? Is it got bass? Is it got treble? What is the quality of the sound? And what are you feeling? And there's two types of feeling. There's physical sensation, where you feel a rush of energy, or you feel goosebumps across the skin, or you feel pulsing vibrations in the body. Or there's this inner feeling of like emotional feeling. I'm feeling excited, or I'm feeling sad, or I'm feeling... So we got the physical sensation, then we got the emotional feeling. And we call this kinesthetic feeling. It is also one of the five senses, really important sense. And then we've got your smell, and we've got your taste. You know, what does it smell like? You know, is it sweet? Does it smell sweet? Does it smell savory? Does it smell sour? You know, what is the smell of it? And then we've got the taste, and there's all the different tastes: astringent, pungent, sweet, sour, you know, spicy. There's so many different flavors as well. When you describe to people, it is an extremely precise language, and it builds accurate imagery in their mind of exactly what is going on, what you're experiencing. I mean, you can describe to someone, imagine biting into chocolate cake, and you just taste that sweetness in your mouth and the texture of the chocolate cake, and it almost gets your glands to you know, salivate a little bit. You know, if you describe to someone enough detail about eating their favorite desserts, or a dessert that, you know, makes them feel really good, they will start to salivate. They'll start to even taste the flavor in their mouth. And I'm sure if you think about a chocolate cake you've eaten, it's not too hard for you to imagine the flavor and the taste of it. And descriptive language gives us this power to be able to access. I mean, if you can describe to someone something to the point where their body can start to feel it as if it was really happening, that is the beginning steps of communicating to the unconscious mind. Then we have number 3, which is process language. Process language is how the unconscious mind works. It is very structured and very organized form of communication. But knowing how to speak in process language, it's a very direct language where you're telling someone to see something. You're telling someone to feel something. You're telling someone to imagine something. And we use words like imagine, wonder, ponder, picture. These are words that stimulate the unconscious mind, the imagination, because whatever you can get a person to imagine is the emotions that they start to feel. Imagination and emotion are actually linked. So when you can describe in descriptive language using metaphor through process language in enough detail, the other person's imagination starts going on a journey, and they start to feel incredible emotions arising based on the outcome of your description. So process language is also extremely powerful because it creates amnesia. So the person can't really remember what you were saying, but they're left with a good feeling, depending on how you use your language. So understanding the structure of hypnotic language and speaking in this direct, affirmative, languaging way will captivate a person's mind and take their mind on a journey. If you want to understand more about process language, check in the description below. I've created a very extensive course that will get you speaking hypnotically and everything you need to know about conversational hypnosis. But process language is speaking directly. So you're telling a person what to do step by step by step. It's very directive language. Almost like imagine there was a robot and you programmed into it to do this, do this, do this, then do that. And then it started to follow those systems. This is how our unconscious mind works. It works in programs, it works in processes and system, structures and form. And this is what's running you currently at the moment. And this is why hypnosis is so powerful in doing personal change work in people's mind, because they can find these processes that were running that do not serve you and begin to change them and modulate them and calibrate them, so that you can start to feel the way you want to feel every day. You know, your motivations, your inspirations, your purpose, it's all linked to these ideas. Your belief system, it's all linked to these ideas. So process language is number 3. Now number 4, which is one of my favorites. So not only do we learn about what to say, but it's important how you say it. The rate at which you speak. Are you speaking slow? And are you speaking fast? Or are you oscillating from slow to fast? It's important to leave pauses in your communication. Just by starting to speak slower will already start to give you this hypnotic power, because the unconscious mind responds to our tone. It responds to the pace at which we speak, the enthusiasm that we speak with. Because you can speak very fast and you can share exciting stories with someone, but then you can just stop. Slow things down. Lower the volume of your voice and start to speak from your solar plexus. There's a resonant tone in the solar plexus that communicates directly to the unconscious mind. So when we're speaking from the solar plexus, we're lowering our volume and we're starting to speak slower, it can create this hypnotic effect on people. We're starting to speak to their unconscious mind. You know, words is one thing, but if we go beyond the words, which is the non-verbal communication, the tone, the pace, the rate at which we speak, these will activate your hypnotic powers within your voice. Having vocal control is essential, and oscillating from speaking faster to suddenly speaking slower. You know, when we create pauses, it puts a person's brain on pause and it creates response potential for the person to be very engaged and want to know more about what you're saying. Okay, then finally, if you stayed till the end, I'm going to share with you this incredible hypnotic question, which will help you pull out your own personal metaphors and the metaphors of other people. Okay, are you ready for it? The question is, that's like what? I'm going to explain to you. Whenever someone's about to use a metaphor, they always say, it's like a burning star, or it's like the weight of the world on my shoulders, or it's like I have a heavy heart, or it's like. So it's like is the language that we use before we bring a metaphor into the light, before we bring it into the conscious awareness. So when we say to someone, and answer this question for me now, when you're having a really good day, it's like what? Or how about this one? When you're feeling a special connection with someone, it's like what? Or how about this one? When you're feeling completely relaxed in your body, you're feeling peaceful in your mind, you're feeling stillness in your being, it's like what? And the answer to that question will be a metaphor. It will be a metaphor. And that metaphor will be the desktop icon that you use to activate that specific state within you. And you can use it just by thinking about it, by interacting with it, by changing the shape, by changing the color of it. This is where we start to go deeper into the imagination and the powers of hypnosis for change work and for accessing people's good feelings. If you know what someone's metaphor is for feeling at peace, you can use it and bring them back into that peaceful state by describing their metaphor to them, or for asking them more descriptive, remember number 2, descriptive information about that metaphor. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing, give me a like. It really helps me promote my information a lot more. And if you want to know more about conversational hypnosis, check out this video, check out that video. It is a superpower, and I really believe that if every person knows this information, it can really change how they communicate to people and strengthens the relationships by which you share with people as well.